paying attention because Caitlin Clark brought fans into the league, and then Sophie Cunningham got some more fans involved in the league. People started paying attention, and then when something whack happens...
Game that was a disaster, there was one positive thing. There was absolutely one positive thing. Caitlin Clark and Dewanna Bonner getting into it. Caitlin Clark and Dewanna Bonner getting into it is at least one positive thing.
Sports fans will call you out. All right, now in the case we're talking about here, we're talking about Dewanna Bonner. Now, Dewanna Bonner signed with the Fever.
And just how bad a game it was. So, Dewanna Bonner gets, in fairness, she probably did get fouled. She probably did get fouled by Lexi Hull. It looked like it was a flop at the time.
Did Dewanna Bonner really just flip the script and call Caitlin Clark's fans bullies right after she quit on the Fever? Think about that. A player steps away mid-season, fans get frustrated, and suddenly the backlash is labeled harassment. But is that really bullying or just accountability finally finding the WNBA? Stay with me, because the messy line between criticism and cruelty is exactly where this league is sitting right now. And trust me, Bonner's story is really a test of whether players can take the heat now that new fans are actually paying attention. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Imagine this. Your team makes a splashy signing. A player that's supposed to be a difference maker, a veteran voice in the locker room. Someone who has been through the battles and was expected to bring stability to a young roster. Then, before the season even hits its stride, that same player is gone. Not injured, not cut, but simply demanding out. That's exactly the story fans tell about what went down with Dewanna Bonner and the Indiana Fever. It wasn't gradual. It wasn't some long, drawn-out process. It was like she appeared, played a few games, and then disappeared with a trade request hanging in the air. And that timing made the whole thing sting even more. Here's how the timeline looks.
Wow. Several months ago, all of a sudden Dewanna Bonner vanishes, right? Played a few games, vanished. What she did play, I wasn't impressed. But nonetheless, she vanished.
She did get fouled. Like, I think even the commentators, these were the ultimate homer commentators, didn't see a foul until, in fairness, slow motion, Lexi Hull did kind of get her arm. But Caitlin Clark's obviously saying something to the referee. And Dewanna Bonner.
And during that time period, I saw a lot of Indiana Fever fans, a lot of Caitlin Clark fans coming out in support of Dewanna Bonner. People thought Dewanna Bonner was off passing a kidney stone.
Saying challenge or something. Because it wasn't being challenged. Basically, I'm guessing Dewanna Bonner is saying, basically, if it's not a foul, challenge call.
Bonner signs months back. Off-season optimism builds. The team markets her as part of this new push to make the Fever a real contender, and suddenly she's suiting up. Moments later, figuratively speaking, she's gone. Not after an entire year of struggling, not after giving it time to adjust, but after just a handful of games where the team badly needed her presence. The demand to be traded framed it less like a failed basketball experiment and more like a personal decision. Whispers started right away. Was this about wanting to be closer to her partner? Was it about going back to Phoenix, a place she's already connected with? Fans had questions, and the team didn't get the chance to provide answers before the wave of frustration hit. That's where the tension hits hardest. Fans weren't hoping she'd come in and score 30 every night. What they expected was veteran leadership, someone willing to take the pressure off the rookies. Caitlin Clark was already carrying the load of being the face of the franchise as a rookie, so someone like Bonner was supposed to soften that spotlight. Instead, when she left so quickly, supporters saw it as abandoning the very responsibility that came with being a seasoned star. The expectations collided head-on with what looked like a personal exit strategy, and that mixture made the reaction way louder than what you'd see in a normal WNBA season. For the Fever organization, it felt almost like a scam. You sign a player, you hype it up, and you build a narrative that this is going to help your franchise move forward, only for it to collapse instantly. For longtime supporters, and for brand new eyes drawn to the team because of Clark, it looked like betrayal. Imagine buying tickets, excited to see this combination of talent develop, then opening your phone weeks later to see the news that she's already asking out. It's not just disappointing, it leaves people questioning her commitment altogether.
Had a relative that was end of life, We thought something seriously was wrong. People are sending thoughts and prayers. And then we got a stench.
And eventually, Caitlin Clark, midway, brushes off Dewanna Bonner. And Dewanna Bonner stops. Dewanna Bonner stops while walking to her bench, and the two of them are going at it.
And what was that stench? Well, that smells like a traitor. Whoa, that smells like a quitter. What is happening now? And then it surfaced that what Dewanna Bonner.
We need something like, remember the first time we played this team? And we played this like it was Game 7 of the finals, and we beat them.
Now here's something that changes everything. The new surge of fans made possible by names like Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. These two don't just bring highlight plays. They bring a new type of audience that watches games closely, shares every clip online, and picks up on small details players used to get away with. Place, body language, attitude. It all gets dissected in real time. The Fever weren't just dealing with the loss of Bonner. They were dealing with a crowd that reacts instantly and loudly to moves they don't agree with. The league has never been under this level of scrutiny before, and players aren't just playing basketball anymore. They're constantly under the digital microscope. So when Bonner's absence turned into a broader narrative about quitting, people weren't framing it as just a few missed games. They saw it as turning her back on the team in the middle of the fight. For new fans especially, that's unacceptable. For years, franchise loyalty hasn't mattered all that much in the WNBA spotlight. Now, with this wave of attention, it matters more than ever. Once it got tagged as quitting, that label stuck like glue. Leaving mid-season turned into something many fans saw as an unforgivable move, and the conversation went from disappointment
Is happening now after we gave all that money, after the Fever gave all that money. And so the Fever said, all right, we will trade you. And then a couple days go by.
So for me, I'm just like, man, we could face this team in the playoffs. Anything that makes this personal. Because we are not going to out-basketball the Phoenix Mercury if we played them in the playoffs. We are not going to beat this team by playing basketball.
Hold up. Wait a minute. So you're telling me Dewanna Bonner only wants to be traded to the team where her wife, girlfriend, husband...
We're going to have to... If we're going to win a playoff series, it's going to have to be a dogfight. We're going to have to hate every single team we come up against. That is the only way the Fever are going to win. And I don't mind this. I don't mind Caitlin Clark getting into it with other teams' players.
to outright hostility. That's where the clash formed. On one side, Bonner and other players described the response as cyberbullying. On the other, fans insist this is simply accountability, the kind athletes in bigger leagues deal with every single day. Both sides feel they're right, but that gap between the two has become the story itself. And when Bonner decides to point the finger directly at Caitlin Clark's fans, calling them bullies, well, that's when everything flips and the narrative turns into something way bigger than just one player asking for a trade. This whole situation is bigger than one trade request or one argument online. What we're really seeing is the WNBA being tested to see if it can handle the weight of real accountability now that so many more people are watching. Fans have numbers and voices that travel instantly, and that power changes everything for players and teams. If the league can't adapt, it risks losing credibility with the very audience it's trying to grow. So what do you think? Was the backlash fair criticism or straight up bullying? Drop your take below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.